wake up grateful every day, covered in favor, doused in grace. Only good vibes rolling through my way. Thankful that the Lord woke me up today. Got a loving family and solid friends, ones that'll ride for me till the end.
Well, good evening, good evening again, and welcome back to another episode of 369 So Much More Than Travel. I am your hostess, always doing the mostest, Tanya Evans, and I am so excited about what I'm going to talk about on this Transparency Tuesday. It is what it is. So if you are just tuning in, click like and click share. Click like and click share. If you are tuning in on YouTube, I don't want to leave you out because I see you tuning in. That is Jubilee the comedian. Make sure you click like, share, and subscribe, because if you are listening to this, something good is going to come of it. Before we get started, I'm not going to be before you long, because at the top of the hour, I'm going to be doing a Zoom. That is the Zoom ID, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific. And that Zoom ID is 663-194-7224. But you have to inbox me and get that private password. And I'm so excited because Pastor Mel, 4-star director Pastor Mel, will be presenting. But that is the Zoom ID. I wanted to just put that out there, and I will definitely put it out there at the end. But make sure you get back to the person that shared this on their wall. I see the folks chiming in. Say something back to me. Hey, how y'all doing? Say something to me. Open your mouth and say something. That's one of my favorite songs by Brent Jones. But anyway, Transparency Tuesday. I love Transparency Tuesday because, hey, I can say what I'm feeling and feel what I'm saying. And let me tell you, today is a special day because 8 years ago today, I lost my 19-year-old son. 8 years ago today. And it's been a crazy 8 years. I didn't even realize it's been 8 years, but 8 years. What's going on? Lotta Jones is in the house out of Charlotte, North Kakalaki. I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Kakalaki, but I'm talking about Transparency Tuesday. So if you are just tuning in, go ahead, click like, click like and click share. And I won't be before you long because, like I said, we have a Zoom at the top of the hour that I don't want you to miss. I don't want you to miss it. But I wanted to tell you a little bit, because of today being what it is. I want to tell you my story. You know, everybody got a story. And ever since I came back from that women's conference that I just came back from, man, I'm just still processing all the information that I obtained. And it wasn't even a training. It was the top leaders and all the other leaders telling their story. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about mine. But if you want the full detail, you may want to get in touch with me so you can get a copy of my book. It's called Transparency, I Remember Hurt. You can also get that on Amazon. And it's amazing that I just showed you that, because I was told I wasn't going to never write no book. And now I got two. I got two books. One called Transparency, I Remember Hurt. There you go. And you'll know it's me, because guess what? I'm on that mug and going places. And I'm definitely going places because next week I'll be celebrating my son's anniversary with a griefcation trip. Coach D used to call them griefcations. But let me tell you something. As I look back over my life and think about all the things that I've been through, I like to look at myself and say, I'm like the female version of Job. You know, Job in the Bible, you know, all the stuff that Job went through. I know what it feels like to lose a parent. I lost my father when I was 15. I know what it feels like to have a parent that don't have the capacity for you. I've dealt with that. I've dealt with rejection from that. I've lost a sibling. I lost my little brother to gun violence. I lost my stepfather from a broken heart. honestly, because after my little brother passed away, that's when my stepfather passed away. Then I lost my son. 8 years ago today, I lost my 19-year-old son. And it's been, 5 years ago, that's when I got into this business. And I remember when I was working on Fort Bragg, around the time my brother got killed, I got laid off from my job because I went to his funeral. Hey, ain't that something? That's that's how a job will do you. They don't really care about what's going on in your life. They just want you to fill the spot and meet a need of theirs. But I went because that was my little brother. And when I came back, I had a pink slip. So I knew then back in March, that was March 4th, 2013. I knew then I wasn't going to work nobody's job no more after that. But I didn't know, I never thought in a million years, none of that compared to the type of issues that I dealt with after losing my son. Because, a parent is not supposed to bury their child. But guess what? My mom did it. She buried my brother. My grandmother did it. She buried my father. So, death don't have a respect of person. But how I reacted to each one was different. And after I lost my son 8 years ago, I was in a real bad place. I was, it was a real, it was bad. It was all bad for everybody at that time. But then, and I always knew who Christ was. Cause like I said, my life has been like Job. I done been drugged by a car. I done been shot. You name it, it done happened. If anything you could think of from birth to come, matter of fact, I almost wasn't been born, but I'll leave that for a whole nother story. But God is all I can say about that. But I had a relationship with Christ as a small child, thanks to my big mama, Eleanor Goodwin, who was a mother of the church at Calvary Baptist Church, and she had a stroke. And when I was about 8 or 9, she passed away. But when I was about 5, she had my mama put me in church. And I've been singing in the choir since I was a little kid. So, I love to sing. And besides, I used to entertain drunk people in the middle of the night. I ain't going to say who them drunk people was. You got to read the book. You got to get that book and read it for yourself. But because I done already said it and been freed from that. Because, hey, it's Transparency Tuesday, and it is what it is. And I know I ain't the only one. I ain't the only one who done been through some things. Matter of fact, I just left this women's conference from a whole bunch of women who are multimillionaires who have been through some things. But how they respond to it and kept it moving and kept it pushing, look, it's beyond me. I don't agree with violence, but I understand. But God, because I'm telling you, had I not came into this, I know what church hurt feel like. Oh yeah, that church hurt different too, because you know why? Them the people that's supposed to know better. But that's when you have to develop a relationship with Christ for yourself. That's one thing I've always had, a relationship with Christ. When I was drugged by that car when I was 10 years old, God was right there with me, making sure that I didn't get ran all the way over. Yeah, he was. When I was laying in my bed sleep, January 23rd, 2003, when that bullet came in and hit me in my knee, shattered my kneecap and part of my femur, God was right there, because he told me, brace yourself. I didn't know what was going on, but he said, brace yourself. And that's what I did. And I got popped. Pop goes the Weezer, because the Weezer went pop. Now, it's kind of funny to me now, because when I see it in my mind and how I reacted, man. And you know what? Just like when my son passed away, God even showed me that. God even showed me that. Hey, Evangelist Aside, I see you on the meeting in a couple minutes. Blessings to you as well. I see you on the Zoom meeting in a couple minutes. And once again, that Zoom ID, let me get it back up here for you. It's 663-194-7224. And that's at 7 Eastern. It's coming up in the next 50 minutes. But I got time. But listen, it's Transparency Tuesday. It is what it is. I even got my little jumpsuit that say what it is, what it is, but I had to develop a relationship with Christ first. Every time I turn around, somebody's asking me to help them. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Now I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to get nothing from you. I'm trying to get something to you. And just like the word of God gave it to me. Because let me tell you, when my son turned 16 years old, I started having these reoccurring nightmares of him being in the sky blue casket. I couldn't shake it. I kept asking my pastor, well, at the time, what does this mean? They was like, ain't nothing gonna happen to that boy. I asked my mama what they was like, let me see what that play for. Because you know they played the lottery and stuff like that. But let me see what that play for. But the bottom line is nobody believed me besides my son. And he told me what it is. He told me I was gonna have to sing for him at his funeral. I was like, man, I ain't gonna be able to sing. Are you listening to what I'm saying? I kept telling him somebody gonna try to kill you. And lo and behold, I started having those dreams at 16 when he was 16 years old. And then at 19, it literally came to pass. And the only thing I could change about the dream was the way I reacted. I actually sang a song for my baby for the last time, and he loved to travel. He was already traveling because he could sing. He was winning talent shows. He did, different type of shows for Cape Fear Regional Theater. Shout out to TJ if you're listening, because he had my son and doing all types of stuff like that. And ever since he been gone, these last 5 years, I never thought that I was gonna be able to breathe easy again. And life still been life. I just recently, not too long ago, last year, I lost my grandparents back to back, 4 months apart. My lifelines. But Jesus is really my lifeline. He's my refuge. He's my everything. And all I have to do is continue to fix and keep my eyes fixed on the maker. Because he's the author and the finisher. God gonna do what he gonna do anyway. So that means you need to do what you need to do. First thing you need to do is, you got to come to grips and take accountability for your actions. You can't focus on what somebody else is doing. You got to focus on what you need to do. Hey, it's Transparency Tuesday. You can't depend on I'm telling you from experience, you can't depend on nobody but the Lord God Almighty. I tell you the truth. He done did it before. He can do it again. And if he can do it for me, and a lot of people be asking, how's she taking all these doggone trips? Y'all just don't know what I've been through. I deserve these trips. You deserve. Look, if you ain't been through nothing, look, you need to get something. Get on the path where you can go through some things so you can have a relationship. It builds character. These things that you go through, guess what? They don't even really have nothing to do with you. This was for you to help somebody else. It's for you to help somebody else. And I remember one of my business partners, and I think he's watching, Bellotta. If I wouldn't have said yes to being in this business, he wouldn't have been able to say yes to being in this business. And in turn, take his mother to New Orleans, a place she had never been able to go before she passed away. Listen, tomorrow is not promised. The end of this day is not promised. So what are you going to do about it? In the next hour, in the next half an hour, I'm going to be doing the Zoom. I'm not going to be before you long, just like I wasn't before you long today. But I've been to so many places, seen so many faces, seen a lot of people, done a lot of things. Last time I was in Dubai, listen to that. Last time I was in Dubai, I said I served my country and didn't get to go nowhere. When you go, you get into basic training, you go in and that, training, you're able to pick some of your days, or places where you want to go. I ain't get to go none of them places. None of them places at all. None of them places at all. But in the last 5 years, you guys, and when God is in it, let me tell you, when God is in it, he'll do a thing suddenly. He'll do it suddenly. Now, I was taking trips when I ain't had no money. And if I can be transparent on this Transparency Tuesday, I done been homeless since being in the company. Didn't nobody know because, hey, I got this platform. I was staying in luxury hotels. But it is what it is. It's Transparency Tuesday. It is what it is. So I may not have had my own address, but it wasn't like I had to stay in no shelter. It's so much more than luxury hotels. Can save your life. It saved mine. And one thing I will share, because I remember back in 2000, I think it was 2020. Yeah. I want to say it was right after. I got into the company and being in a year, made one star director and everything, not even on purpose. Because when I got into the company, all I wanted to do, all I needed at that time was a getaway. I just needed to get away. I needed an escape from my life. I just needed an escape. I didn't want to build it as a business. I just needed an escape. But I didn't have no money. I came into this business unemployed. I didn't have no money. Remember, I said I wasn't working. I ain't worked a job since March 4th, 2013. But I've worked a job ever since I was 14 years old. I said, I'm not about to be, I want to see the world. And when I was in third grade, I had a teacher. I was going to Anthony Wayne in Cleveland, Ohio, on Larch Mill Road. And I had a teacher, Dr. Cole, and it was career day. And she had asked me, what did I want to do when I grow up? Because everybody be saying I'm going to be a comedian. I'm still alive, so I'm a comedian. My life has been hilarious. I'm telling you, it's been hilarious. There's never been a dull moment. Never. There's never been a dull moment. I wouldn't take anything back. I wouldn't change. And I would make some changes, but the people in my life, the places and things, I would not change. Because God orchestrated it. And he orchestrated it this way to get his glory. I know, because this ain't got nothing to do with me. So back when I was working on Fort Bragg, I had a supervisor named Jolette Newsom. And I remember I was always praying, Lord, I want to be able to go to church with my kids. Because when I grew up in church, my parents didn't go to church with me. But I wanted to go to church and, raise my kids in the church. So, and sing in the choir. And I was able to do that, sing in the choir at the church and everything. But I couldn't get off on the weekends. That's another thing. When you work in a job, you got to work the schedule that they give you. I don't want to be on nobody's schedule but God. But I prayed. I said, Lord, I want to be able to go to church, worship with my kids. I want to go with them. I don't want to do it the way I was raised. I want to do it with my kids. And my supervisor had allowed me, she picked me to go out to the FOB, which the schedule was Monday through Friday. So I got the weekends off. And she had told me that she saw God showed her me in a small church making a big impact. That's what she has said. This is like 10 almost 10 years ago now. So I said, okay. So I started, was able to go to church with my my kids. Then a few years later, that's when my son died. So I left that church. I left that church for many reasons, but I just left that church. Got to another church. And I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you my story and how strategic God is. So when my son got killed, I was in college. I was actually going to college to get my associate's degree. And I did complete it. I didn't give up. I kept on going. But during my internship, that was when my son had got murdered. And I didn't give up. I do have my degree, but I didn't want to work in the medical field. I would start having, issues with my legs from being shot. So now I'm, like disabled, but that's what the man say. I'm disabled, but ain't nothing wrong with my mouth. And I remember back in school, I used to get in trouble for talking too much. Now I get paid to do it. Isn't that something? See, God will give you the talents that you already need in order to succeed in life. So, hey, and all I'm doing is sharing. Just like I want y'all to get on this Zoom. I'm going to keep on talking about it. Y'all about to be sick of me, but that's all right. Y'all going to thank me later. Matter of fact, y'all ain't even got to thank me. Y'all ain't got to thank me. Y'all ain't got to hang out with me. I just want to get the information to you. I'm not trying to get nothing from you. This is something that's going to, could save your life. This may or may not even be for you, but it's worth taking a look at. But Listen, my story is that at the end of the day, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I know that some will, some won't. So what? But guess what? I am already doing this. I'm getting ready to celebrate in Dubai with my pastor and first lady and the team of Growing Places, because we done wrote this book. So this is the second stop on our world tour. But hey, I'm going to Dubai for 7 days. Breakfast included for 2 people for $194. That's how $194. That's how much I paid for the whole entire week in Dubai. The first time I went to Dubai, it was $49 for 6 days for 2 people. Yeah, I got the receipts and the proof, and the proof is in the pudding. Been to Montego Bay. I done been, like I said, this is about to be 87. I'm getting ready to relocate to Texas. I mean, look, it is changing lives up in here. And now I want what God got for me. He said it's time, and I'm ready to receive it, because for these last 5 years, I've been soaking up this information, enjoying the product in its entirety. When I tell you, listen, I used to be so poor, I couldn't pay attention. Now look, I done used this platform to purchase my vehicle. I done used this platform to go to the movies, concert, rented cars when I didn't have a car. I didn't always have to tell you right. I just got to tell you right in 2023. I'm keeping it real. It's Transparency Tuesday. It is what it is. Because when God do a thing, he does it suddenly. I remember when he asked me, when I asked him for this, I didn't even know it was going to be this. But I said, Lord, I need you to do a thing in my life. I said, I don't know what's going on. Every time I turn around, somebody dying, somebody using, somebody abusing. And I just, I don't even know what the problem is, but I need you to do a super casual, fragilistic, expialidocious blessing. That way, when they see me, they'll know it has nothing to do with me at all, but it has everything to do with you. And when I tell you, he done did that thing. He done did the thing and ain't even scratched the surface. I'm a witness. I am a living witness. And that's because I'm going to keep my eyes fixed on the maker. Because at the end of the day, that's where I'm going home to. Look, I get phone calls. Don't go over to that country. They got this, that, and the third going on. I remember when I went to Dubai, it had just flooded. And somebody said, don't go over there. It's flooding over there. I said, I got my floaties. And when I got over there, I'm telling you, it was dry. It was so dry. It was everything. You couldn't even tell that he even rained a little bit over there. That is what I'm trying to explain to you. You can't take the word or focus on what somebody else is doing. What is you doing? And don't get me wrong. Yesterday I talked about fear. Girl, look, I be nervous all the time. I be nervous all the time. But I still do it. I remember one time we was on the plane to Panama City. And my mom had called me talking about you going out the country again. The planes is falling out the sky. Don't you go over there. And I was like, man, I done paid for this world tour. It's $79. I went to Panama City for 5 days, all inclusive, for $79, y'all. $79. I got the receipts. And listen, let me tell y'all, when we got on the plane, I seen a whole bunch of my brothers and sisters from Travoria. And we was on that plane, and we was taking off down the runway. And the pilot came on the intercom and said, okay, flight attendants, prepare to take off. And then next thing you know, the engine shut down. And the pilot come back on the thing, say, hey, attention, everyone. I'm so sorry. We just have to turn around and go back to the terminal because the plane is missing a part. A whole part was missing on the plane, y'all. But guess what? You see me sitting here having this conversation with you. So glad I made it. I made it through because all of my help come from him, and he wasn't going to bring me all the way down to Miami to get on the plane, to let them miss out on that part. See, God is strategic. He know what he doing, even when we don't. Even when it don't look like it. Because I used to think, I was like, man, I'm about to hurt everybody. I'm just gonna keep it real on this transparency thing. Like, Lord, you better get your children. You better. I'm like, look, and I be having a nerve talking about some. You better do nothing. God is gonna do what he gonna do, when he gonna do it, and how he gonna do it. You just better be ready to reap the harvest and receive it. I have planted seeds for the last 5 years. It's time to reap the harvest. And listen, instead of asking me, y'all can come on in here and do it with me. I'm inviting you guys to see this presentation in the next 45 minutes. Here it is. Whoop, there it is. That's the Zoom ID. You got to get back to the person that invited you or shared this on their wall and get that password, because it's a private password that you're going to need to get into that Zoom. And if you miss that Zoom, guess what? The West Coast is doing it using that Zoom, but you still got to get the password and the information. There's the ID for one. But this is the first one coming up in 30 minutes. I'm gonna be on there, so you'll know it's me. I'm gonna be the one letting you in the room. Come on in the room. And guess what? That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And guess what? Your life can be turned around too. Now I'm driving a Telluride that I got $10,000 off the MSRP using this platform. I went to the movies the other day for $7. What could have cost me $53 for popcorn and a drink and one movie ticket. Because, hey, I ain't got no boo or nothing like that. But, hey, all these prices is for two people. But I went to the movies by my own self for $7. And this man was in there talking about some, man, this cost $53. I said, is you about to meet the actor or something like that? You need to come on this Zoom. That's all you got to do. Be a good inviter. Just like you invite people to church or to birthday parties or to retail price trips. Ooh, we don't want to do retail no more. Retail is against my religion, and it should be against yours. So that is my time. I got to get ready for this next presentation. But guess what? You got to make that change, like that song Michael Jackson say. You got to make that change. I actually did that song in South Carolina at the karaoke spot. Shout out to my new sister that's on the Russian team, but she ain't Russian, Miss Jacqueline. My sister, Miss Jacqueline. But guess what? She took some footage and sent it to me. And guess what? This is what this is what we do. And this could be you. Live your life. You only got one life to live. Why not live it the way you want to live it? I just so appreciate y'all coming on, listening to my story, tuning in to Transparency Tuesday. It is what it is. It is 369, so much more than travel. I'm going to leave that Zoom ID up there while I end this Transparency Tuesday with this. If you want to make a change in your life, somebody is needing that change that you're needing to make. But in order for them to get it, you have to get it first. So listen, I'll see y'all next time tomorrow on Wacky Wednesdays. I may do something wacky, but guess what? Let's get on this Zoom and let's start making some residual income and extra income for you and your family. I already got it. Make that change, y'all. See you next time.
I'm asking him to change his way. A better place, you better take yourself and make it change. Sing it, y'all. I'm asking him to change his way. No message to be in the mirror. If you want to make a world a better place, you better look at yourself and make a change.